you ever front run Wall Street? Because if you're in crypto now, that is part of what is happening. Now, some of Wall Street is already in crypto, and that's caused a correlation between the NASDAQ and Bitcoin's price. But, and that is a big but, you are ahead of the game, and that is what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain, and if you like money and crypto and you're looking for a seasoned investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. Do note I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, and I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about crypto projects I don't believe in. We do want to thank our Patreon members. We have a private Discord there Patreon members get access to. Make it rain on that like button. Strap in for the show. Let's talk about it. The majority of major funds, large equity holdings, pensions, and other huge money pools have no exposure to Bitcoin and crypto, and yet they want that exposure. And here you are front running them. How does it feel? Well, it truthfully doesn't feel amazing yet, does it? Why? Well, because the price has not been going up. And not only has it not been going up, it's been going down. Now, why has the price been going down if it's later going to go up? Well, that is actually exactly how money and markets works. Now, let me ask you, if there are $1 trillion or even more, which you're holding back from entering crypto because regulations are in the way, can they enter it yet? Well, no, not yet. There is an insane amount of lobbying going on in crypto. And if you think that doesn't have an effect on price, or if you think that doesn't have an effect overall, follow the price of office space on K Street in Washington since 20 years ago. That will tell you whether lobbying has an effect or not. Follow the money. Now, it wasn't until about 18 months ago that crypto really started lobbying in Washington. And about 12 months ago, it realized that it better start really spending because the banks sure were. Now, I feel like that investment is going to start paying dividends, and the lobbyists and other politicians will start putting pressure on Janet Yellen and also the SEC commissioner, who seems to have made it his personal mission to hold back and take crypto under his control with his vision of how he wants it to go. And I don't think he's been very friendly. Let's take a look at some exciting things on where Bitcoin's price is, because actually the last couple of days it's done exceptionally well. Keep in mind, I don't personally hold large holdings in Bitcoin. Most of my money are in much riskier altcoins. But for the most part, they do go up after massive money starts coming into crypto. And that almost always happens to come in through Bitcoin first. So it's always good to have an understanding of what is happening to Bitcoin and where it might go. So let me share my screen here. You can see my other camera. Hello. And let's take a look here. So this is where we are now, and we're going to zoom in on the hourly because it's pretty exciting what is happening. Now, what is going to happen from here? Now, what's exciting to me is specifically this. It was trading in this pattern here. Good chance it was going to break to the downside, which is exactly what it did. It broke to the downside. What's interesting is it came down here, tested 18,500, and then broke up and broke back above this resistance here, which is now turned as support. So what we all want to know is what is going to happen in the short term, right? Well, that's hard to tell what is going to happen in the short term, but it's a lot easier to tell what is going to happen in the long term. And for that, let's rewind some time here and let's go to the daily. And let's look at this time period. Now, many of you were not here during this very interesting crypto winter. And look how interesting it was. First of all, it hit this low of about 31.77, and then it went as high as $14,000, only to come back all the way to under $3,800 before deciding to go up like crazy. So the short term of Bitcoin is hard to tell. However, we did have this really weird pump, and I would associate this part of the pump related to a Bitcoin scam that actually took Bitcoin higher than it should have gone. It would have been a lot more normal to see it trading in this range, but because it had this really early high, it then had this low. And this was also the Black Thursday, I think they call it. But during the pandemic, when all the businesses were shut down and there was a lot of fears, and Wall Street sold off a lot of their stocks, well, Bitcoin and crypto got impacted too. And this is evidence that some of Wall Street is in crypto. Not only this, but there is generally a lot of correlation between what is happening in Bitcoin and what is happening with the NASDAQ or tech stocks. And what's interesting is Wall Street has this idea that they trade Bitcoin like a tech stock, at least the part of Wall Street that's in there. If you think about it, crypto is a hedge asset against fiat currency, particularly Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like an insurance policy in case fiat continues to have massive inflation. Well, that's what Bitcoin is for. And as technology evolves with Bitcoin, the transaction costs are getting lower, as well as the speeds increase through the Lightning Network, that is feasible that Bitcoin could even be a currency or used as a currency. Whereas right now, it's mostly used as a store of value, almost like a digital gold. It is exciting where all of this is going. And where is it going? Well, look, after it did a lot of this trading here, it was ready to go off to the races. And see this, once it broke out above this point, 12,000, it just took off running. And there was a lot of sideways trading during here. If you were holding at any time in here, it was pretty depressing, even when it went to 12,000. But it came back down, and you're like, oh my gosh, will this thing just please run? Will it just please do well? And it wouldn't, right? So it was trading mostly in this range here. And you're like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And finally it did it. Now, it was in this range for a long time. Let me do this. Look how long it was in this range, trading down here. So we hit the bottom in December 2018, after just 12 months prior being at these highs, December 2017. So I hit this bottom. We had this early recovery because of a Bitcoin scam. I forget the name of it. It's like Bitcoin One or something. And then it recrashed down with Wall Street here. This was the Wall Street related crash. And then it was ready to run and off to the races, breaking through its previous all-time high. So here it came up, tested, retested down, went a little bit higher, retested down, and then boom, it was ready to shoot up and go crazy, hitting a very early pump. It was a strange early pump. And the reason I say strange is really Bitcoin should have had more of a delay before it was ready to run and have a blow off top later. But I think combined with Elon Musk and Tesla buying crypto, also talking about Doge, some money started coming to Doge. That got a lot of people buying Bitcoin, as well as some stimulus checks that happened around this time. That's what caused this to pump, came back down. I think this was evidence of more Wall Street manipulation. And I think the true pump of this cycle hasn't happened yet. Know a lot of people that are saying, oh, this was our pump, and then we're off to the races. I just don't think that's the case. Have you ever followed Plan B and what they have related to Bitcoin? I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick. Plan B has a really good model for, and it's called the stock to flow model. And I really like their stock to flow model. I think it nails it better than just about everything. So let me pull up and share with you this. So if you can see it in the corner here, it's a small version of it, but this shows the stock to flow model. And what it usually does is it lags behind this curve. But in March, because we had this early run, it actually went up above it. And the stock to flow model would show Bitcoin is being worth around the true value being around $100, $104, $108,000. Here we go. No, let me correct myself on that. Has it below 100,000? This is different. And some people are saying stock to flow is not really good now, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know it's impolite to gloat and all that, but I think financial models that give people false sense of certainty and predestined number will go up are harmful and deserve all the mockery they get. Obviously, Vitalik Buterin is a huge ETH maxi, and he feels ETH is better than Bitcoin. I don't know that he wins that argument. ETH has properties that make it better than Bitcoin, and they're about to do a big merge, and ETH is in the spotlight, so everyone's really excited about ETH. And there is a chance that after the merge happens, ETH continues to go up if it opens some of those floodgates that are waiting in the wings, that then they can go into ETH, because then ETH will now be more energy efficient and not create a political backlash against some of those funds. If it does unlock those gates, then we may see ETH continue to pump after the merge. Normally, it would retrace. I'd give about a 30% chance that it pumps. Now, I don't wish any harm on ETH. ETH introduced smart contracts to the ecosystem. They've done a fantastic job. And if the merge, or ETH 2.0 in general, the merge is like step one of some other things that have to happen. If that's successful and we essentially get ETH 2.0 over time, we get greatly increased Ethereum transaction speeds as well as decreased costs. I think that's fantastic. We would all love ETH to succeed. However, Bitcoin is a better store of value, like a replacement to gold, than anything I have seen. And so the stock to flow model has Bitcoin's true value being looks like about 85,000 here. In fact, they touched it, so that might be around 65,000. What's interesting is I think this has been changed, because it should be looking like this, where the model was higher at just over $100,000. That's really the number that we were looking at, and maybe it's since then been adjusted down almost to fit the way the charting did run. Okay, so if you look through the history, how often does it actually touch this chart? It's often either above or below, right? Because it's currently been below, people have the idea that they need to pull this down and that it's way, way off. Now, what I feel this really means is that there's some things legislatively that are holding Bitcoin back. And when those things get pushed out of the way, and I have a feeling that's on the way. Now, I can't tell you whether that happens in 2 months or whether that happens in 8 months. I don't have a good enough feel for exactly how those conversations are going and with which politicians those conversations are being had and how successful they are with each of the different politicians. Wish I had insight into that. That would tell me a lot about timing and when this is going to play out. But that will play out. The U.S. does not want to get crushed by the rest of the market and by everyone else getting in first. And so eventually those pressures on the politicians will be so great, I feel like they will get the regulations out of the way. And that this means Bitcoin will eventually pop to the upside by a lot and probably overswing to the upside, as you frequently see it happen. Look in the history where Bitcoin pops and it goes up above by a lot only to return down. So we've been down below this true value for a long time. What then happens? Well, the pendulum doesn't stay in the middle. It often swings, and it swings too hard to the other side. Well, that's really exciting. What if Bitcoin went too hard to the other side, and that true value is somewhere between 95 to 105,000, but it swings too hard to the other side? That could take it to 200,000, could take it to 350,000. And if that happens, boy, that's what, a 20, or that's a 10 to 15x from where Bitcoin is. But what would that do for the altcoins? Well, that is really exciting for the altcoins. Really exciting. Now, do I think that's going to happen? I do. Let's take a look at these charts just a little bit more. Appreciate you for joining me. I just had some thoughts I wanted to share. So, what I don't know in the short term is exactly how this is going to play out, right? So we've been trading in this pattern. It broke to the downside, traded back up to the upside. Look at this volume. That's nice and good. What I know is that Bitcoin is still small enough that massive funds can totally manipulate the market. And if they see a lot of longs loading up, they may then crash the market down to take the money from those. And then we might be ready to finally start that ascent. Now, should those floodgates open and the politicians get the regulations out of the way so the crypto can truly run, that's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm waiting for. A lot of people come into crypto for the short term, and what's funny is realistically, we don't expect that we're going to make $1 million in 3 months. And we know that that's not supposed to be possible. And yet people come in, and after 6 or 9 or 12 months, they're already giving up. I would say they're going to miss out on the best financial chance of their life. I like to buy when it's boring or buy when it's low and wait till the problems that are in the way resolve themselves so they're no longer problems. The price then goes crazy, and then I sell into that. Now, I know the crypto market is slow right now. Just know good decisions made during these pullbacks, they lead to life-changing ones when the market turns around, and it will. The rains will come again, and projects that have planted their seeds well and nurtured them will flourish. And those of you who have found, invested in, and been patient with those projects, your portfolios will flourish too. This rap is for all of you. I wrote the words. Charlie out of the UK performed it. This just reinforces the principles of smart trading.
Came into this space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, right before you could, was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. Buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I take the one out cause I'm patient like that, and I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love, and I'll follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, but time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough, and that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love, and I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.